Hello guys, hello everyone, and welcome to this stream where we're going to take about an hour to discuss the future of Broken Arrow. Before we go into the future of Broken Arrow, I would like to address what happened in the immediate past of the history of the game, and also give a bit of perspective on what happened since launch. When we launched in June, the game was already in development for years. It's been in development for a long time. We knew it was going to be a big game because we had so many wish lists, because the community was vibrant and very much participating in the development, giving us advice and hoping for more content month after month. When we launched the game, before launching the game, because we knew it was going to be big, we did a lot of beta testing, a lot of play tests with hundreds of thousands of people. And despite that, when we launched, there were things that weren't working as expected. Now, when you launch a game of this size, especially with a multiplayer component, you expect that the community will be an important part of the growth of the game, and we wanted to make sure that the community was always heard. But because, of course, the many things that didn't work at launch or were supposed to be fixed, we had to sort of take a moment, and the team had to take a moment, the development team had to take a moment and work on some things, and some of the things that weren't working needed a long time to be fixed. Hence some silence, hence some things that were released and weren't working as expected, because we wanted to deliver stuff, but we didn't have enough time to test it. Things take time, and unfortunately, some things didn't work as expected. Also consider still Balalaika, when we launched, was a small team, and this was also the first time that Slitherine launched such a big multiplayer game. So there were a lot of unknowns for us, both from a development perspective and from a publishing perspective. Now the team at Still Balalaika has more than doubled in size. We have learned a lot as a publisher. We have grown as well in size in terms of people who are able to follow your needs and questions and things you were asking for as well. And we hope that this is sort of going to be a good fresh start for the game. We're going to look into what is coming up next, what you guys are expecting, with lots of questions coming from the community, things that still don't work and needs fixing, and things that you wish were there but are not priorities, we still want to work on. We also are going to talk a little bit about how we would like to renew this partnership between us and the community, with the idea of always being respectful and making sure that we work together to make this game grow. We are putting the hours in work, you're putting the hours in playing, and only through this synergy we can make a game that grows over time. So before we jump into the future of the game, I want to thank you all for commenting, giving advice, asking questions, and participating in the growth of this game. And because you're such a big part of the community, of the growth of the game, we want to make sure that this is not only a moment, but this is a recurring chat we have with the community. So we're going to do more of these in the next months, hopefully with much more frequency. Yes, so I think that from here we can only talk about the future, and hopefully you guys are gonna come away with a refreshed hope and will to grow a great game for the future. Let's jump into this now. All right, so here with me today I have Félix from Steel Balalaika and Alberto from Slitherine. Félix, you're the main designer on the game, right? And
yes, I'm creative director at Steel Balalaika.
Creative director, and Alberto is the senior brand manager on the game. He's been working with Steel Balalaika on the game since the very beginning. Where do we want to start? I guess that we have a sort of a visual representation of what we're working on, right?
Yeah, so the actual roadmap itself. So I believe that that's where we should start from.
All right. So, okay, we have 3 green little spots. I'll start from there. Which is basically what we have delivered so far as in terms of major feature updates. And I'll let you go through these, Alberto.
Yeah. So as you can see, we are listing what items we already worked on, because this is supposed to be a live document in the sense that we will be updating this as we go through next year and the next and the one after it. And we'll be constantly adding new content and also representing what we've already done for the game. In this case, since June, we've been adding penalties for leavers, for people who quit multiplayer matches, a surrender vote option, which was a highly requested tool from the community, and of course the integration of easy anti-cheat for better and improved cheater detection policy for the game. So this is what we've been working on so far. Felix, do you want to add anything to this?
Well, I guess I can talk about the next step, the Ally AI bots that we are going to add to the game very shortly before the end of the year, so in a few weeks maximum. So this is one of the most, if not the most requested feature for the game that was missing at launch, is the ability to play, in fact, alone with up to 4 AI bots in your team and 5 enemy AI bots in the opposing team. So this ability to play skirmish alone at the full scale of the game will be added very soon.
This will be part of the Allied Command update, and will be releasing in a few weeks, in a couple of weeks maybe, definitely before Christmas. But shall we move on to next year, which will be a big year for Broken Arrow? So as you can see, we have divided the major items from planned quality of life improvements as well as DLCs. So I just want to clarify how to read this roadmap a bit. Let's start with the major features. So as you can see, there are some features that we've been working on already. The ones that we've been working on are the ones with the small yellow icon to their left. In this case, save games for the single-player story campaign. That's a highly requested feature, and it took a bit of time in order to get there. Do you want to elaborate a bit on it?
Yeah, generally it's adding this feature will take time. But it's a fundamental one. We acknowledge it without problem. It just requires some fundamental rework of some elements of how the scripts are made, how the state of the game exists in memory and everything. So we're working on it. It will take time. But it has a lot of value. So we already started that several months ago, but it will still take more months to come.
Speaking of timing, just a clarification. We opted not to give a specific order for the items in this roadmap, in the sense that the order you see is just for visibility. We want to reserve ourselves essentially the freedom to be able to shuffle things around depending on what works best from a development point of view. So don't expect those things to come in that specific order. In fact, some of those things will be coming sooner rather than later. So yeah, the first one was save games. Then we have a lot of work behind the scenes in order to prepare the source code for future mechanics, such as, for instance, replays Do you want to maybe explain a bit what this is?
So generally, the three things, like the rework of the network system is required to obtain a replay. It's a fundamental problem of a fight between optimization and accuracy of the information over the network. If everything has to pass on the server and needs to be verified by the server, this is inefficient and you get a lot of lag. If everything is made on the client side, you have the possibility for a lot of cheats. So basically we are moving more elements on the server side to reduce the possibility of cheating, to allow the possibility for replay. Basically the server would be recording absolutely everything happening in the match to be able to deliver a replay file at the end that would be shared with the clients or the players. So these 3 points, they are highly intricated together, and again we've put them first because they are the most important, but they are also some of the most difficult, so something that will take time to arrive.
Awesome. Moving on to the second column, we have new multiplayer maps variants, which I don't think needs further explanation because it's pretty self-explanatory. But I wanted to ask you about loitering ammunition. What is it?
It's it's a type of ammunition existing. It's drones, basically, like what you more commonly call drones. It's a loitering ammunition. It's a missile, basically, that is that can stay on a zone for some time and select its target either automatically or through an operator or something like that. So in the game at the moment we have cruise missiles, which you target a position on the map and the missile go there and crash on the ground there with an explosion. We have many different types of missile, but we don't have this loitering ammunition, which basically you fire them in a direction and then they will search for targets in this area. So quite an exciting mechanics, very modern, quite complex to code because, well, it's quite complex in reality. Basically all the drones are loitering ammunitions.
Awesome. And the other two major features that we have planned for next year are super requested by the community. We're talking of co-op campaign and spectator mode. Once again, I don't think that we really need to explain what these things are because the community pretty much knows what they are and they have been asking a lot for it. I just wanted to mention that spectator mode is something that we really want in the game. Also because we think that the game deserves a spectator mode in order to really make the multiplayer community flourish. We want to give a special attention and put a special focus on multiplayer in 2026. Most importantly, we would like to start a season system for the game and official tournament support for the game. This will also be supported by a new website to showcase this competitive environment that we hope will flourish throughout next year. But I believe that a lot of people are wondering about what those three big specializations mentioned at the top of the roadmap are. So, well, we don't want to give too many spoilers, right?
Right.
But yeah, we have 3 specialization DLCs coming next year. As you can see, the first one will be an allied spec for the United States. So it won't be American, but it will be from a country, or maybe a set of countries, allied to the United States. And, you know, just as a bit of a spoiler, I guess, we want to reveal that this DLC will be free. So we'll be releasing the first DLC as a free content, and we'll be unveiling this content at Slitherine Next on December 9. So mark it on your calendars. The second specialization DLC will be a Russian specialization, whereas the third one will be once again an American specialization, but it will also add new Russian units. But this will also bring something new to the table. Do you want to maybe expand a bit on it?
Yeah, generally. So first and second DLC are expanding the existing factions in a rather classic way. So the third DLC will introduce a new battlefield, a new biome for the game. Expect some water in it. Like there are little spoilers in the background pictures if you look closely. So yeah, we will introduce new theater of battle with this DLC. That will certainly be interesting to fight on.
Awesome. Moving on to what will come in 2027. Of course, we will be updating this roadmap with new features, new content, new mechanics, and this roadmap will only grow and get richer. At this stage, we can only commit to the features that we are sure to make in 2026, but we have more, we have a lot of ideas for the future of the game. But one thing we can commit to is 2 new DLCs coming in 2027. There will be a new Russian allied spec. So once again, it's not from Russia, but it will be a country allied to Russia. But most importantly, we will be releasing the biggest expansion up to date to Broken Arrow, which is a brand new faction coming with a new campaign with its own deck customization, a lot of new units, a new biome, a new world theater, and so many new maps. I don't know, Felix, if you want to say something more about this, or should we maybe just wrap it up?
Am I allowed?
No, okay, no, it's not. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what people will be speculating about.
Well, just to clarify, well, factions are independent element of the multiplayer, fighting against each other, while the specializations are sub-part of the faction. So we'll have these brand new factions, including in itself multiple specializations. The final number is not yet defined, but expect something similar to what we had for USA and Russia. So at the release of the game.
Awesome, that's amazing. Let's spend a couple of minutes to explain the bottom of the roadmap. So people will see that planned quality of life improvements list. What are these, Felix? What can you tell about this?
They are, well, we have separated them because they are stuff being done in parallel to the big major features that we are doing. We know that the major features are the most important, but since they are also the longest to create, we have planned a long list that we have even more stuff than this planned to improve the game in between. These are smaller elements that will be done in parallel so that you have something more regular, more novelty, more regularly than waiting several months every time for a new big features. So as you can see, some of them have already been started. Some will start soon. We didn't really write them in a specific order where we will do them. We're also waiting for the feedback of the community to know which one they consider are the most important. And as usual, we begin the work with what is perceived as the most important by the community. So that's how we proceed. That's why also we don't want to impose an agenda for this stuff.
Awesome. And if you feel that anything is missing, please let us know. We're doing this kind of event in order to communicate to the community, but also to gather feedback from the community and to gather your questions. So please write in the comments, write in the Discord, give us your opinion. So this is the roadmap. Shall we maybe move on to the questions?
Yeah, I mean, we received a lot of questions before the live stream. We have asked for community to, and I'm reading the chat in the meantime, by the way. So let us know in there as well if there's something very specific about it. There's about 300 questions we received over the last few days from all the different communities, both on Discord and other channels, and also from our official QQ channel in China. So there's quite a lot of stuff. Shall I go ahead and do something for you, Felix, first? Got one from Rigor Mortis, who's posted quite a number of questions there, which I will sort of read, but also add something on top. So he's asking, is the game we see today closer to the foundation of something bigger or closer to the finished vision? And I will add, what was the intention when you released the game to sort of, stop it there, just release it and then finish it out there, or expand it over time?
Well, generally there is never an end. It's an always ongoing process of improving the game. So for the release, we released the game at a moment where basically we hesitated on where do we go next. We needed an answer to know, okay, are people going to prefer the multiplayer, the solo, the skirmish? What should we put our next priorities on? And we released the game at that moment. So now that we get this kind of information, we get the feedback from the community, we can progress in a direction that we know is going to be efficient, that we know is going to please people, and that we are not going to waste our efforts in something that doesn't matter for people. So it's an ongoing process. The final vision of the game is to have more factions. We don't want to limit the game to USA and Russia, and as you've seen, we have already planned the next faction. After this third faction, we'll see probably new specializations, new factions again, new biomes. There are really a lot of possibilities, but all that takes an extremely long time. If we want to make all the armies in the world, it's going to take years and years. So we listen to what the community has to say, and we adapt our plans based on that to provide what is considered the most important.
There is a question from LD also, picking up on something that is recurring in the chat as well, which is the idea that the fact that the player count dropped quite significantly since launched, about 84% in the 5 months. Do you think this is bad? Is there a recovery plan, or is there a recovery plan needed? What's your view on this declining number of players?
Well, first, it's always normal that there is a decline after the launch. Like every game, except very few exceptions, or live ops game, generally you have a decline of players because not everybody is playing the same game for hundreds of hours. Some people, they prefer the solo content, they play it, and after that they wait for more content and are not really interested in playing the skirmish or the multiplayer. But in the middle of that, there are also the shortcoming of the skirmish that we are addressing soon. We have seen with the release of the game that the amount of people who were interested in playing the skirmish alone, without any human player, even if it's in their team, was quite high. So basically all the stuff that you can see in the roadmap, they are all acknowledgement of the problems or the missing stuff that the game has, and that we want to add to it.
Yeah, I shall reinforce that, we've been, and Marco's saying 90% decrease. Now, I shall reinforce that, which is very relevant. And I mean, we've been doing, games for a long time now, about more than 25 years now. And I think that this concept of player decline, meaning that the game is dying, is a sort of misconception that it's kind of frequent in general. It happens for all major games, even for million sellers. You probably look at, your Manor Lords or your Europe Universalis. It's always happening, right? You have this decline, and then you stabilize over a number, and then you build on these numbers to sort of keep the retention going and so on. So it's a general sort of misconception that declining number of players means that the game is dying, but it's actually also true that we need a positive, happy community to keep building on a game, of course, because if the sentiment is negative, it's very hard to build on things. So in general, I would say that we don't see the declining customers and players as a negative per se, but our mission now is to make sure that we deliver the updates that the community is expecting to keep them happy and on our side, instead of being a sort of just a pot of negativity that pollutes the game's future. That's basically my view as well. One thing. What is it, still from LD, what lessons did you learn from launch? And did you learn something on your development process from launch, and how did you adapt to it?
Well, we, as I said earlier, we discovered players' preferences in the sense of what would people like in the game compared to others. I've been working on other games in the past, and each of them is a bit different, and it's really hard to predict. In the case of Broken Arrow, for instance, the multiplayer community has been really large in proportions. We had more than 50% of the players who played several hours of multiplayer, when in other games sometimes it's, say, 10%, something like that. So what we learned first was a bit through the statistics that we could read was who are our customers, because who are players, we can read the comments, but the people who comments are not necessarily representative in quantity to the people who play and buy the game. So the first lesson was this, like, okay, who is interested in this game, who is doing what. So sadly, our measurements at the release were not the best. We don't have super precise information. Now we have a better vision on that. That's part of the silent work that happened after the release of the game, like trying to analyze what's happening. And for us, well, it's not really something new, but after the release, the pace of the work has to be increased, because during the development, the silent development, there is a milestone from time to time as for a beta test. But in between, it's pretty calm in the sense that we don't have to answer to the immediate needs and expectations of people from day to day. After the release, this is over. Like, people are here, people are expecting stuff now, fast and better. And so this is a difficulty. We knew it was coming. That's what we increased the size of the team. But to increase the size of the team, we also needed to know how popular the game would be, because you cannot multiply your team size by 2 or 3, and if the game is not successful. So yes, it's all this stuff, like waiting for information, reacting to them. That's what we did.
It's interesting, because what you're saying is super interesting. I find it because you see that people are saying, some people are saying the game is dying, or is decreasing every day. But on the other hand, the rest of the community is saying, well, more content, more this and this. Yeah. So it is like investing in a game means that you're expecting the game to grow, not die. So it's an interesting balance there to be kept.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah. Well, one question I would like to ask. This is sparking from a question from XDMC here, sort of expanding on it. Is balancing between features, which is stuff that, or like fixes that are stuff that is not seen or like not perceived as true value sometimes,
as opposed to content? Because I see in the chat a lot of people saying, oh, we want more content, right? But on the other hand, you want more, there's other people want more features, more and more quality of life stuff. So how do you prioritize and how do you work with the team? Because of course the team is now large enough that you have people working on something specific, some people working on content, so on. How do you prioritize things for release?
Well, for the release, we didn't. But after the release, like we basically having a bigger team allows to make more things at the same time, which allows basically for us to work on long-term things. What we've done after the release is we try to focus on the most important things, but the most important things take time to come, and as a result, people had the impression that the team had disappeared, that we were gone on an island, drinking Cuba Libre or whatever. And except we were in fact hard at work, harder than ever after the release, and that's why we didn't have much time to communicate, to celebrate, to do stuff. Like we had problems to fix. But what we have learned is that if you only focus on the most important stuff, you're creating an emptiness, and this emptiness is impacting the confidence that people have in the team that we are working on. So now what we do is we are alternating, as you've seen on the roadmap, between the big stuff that will take months and smaller stuff to show we're here, show we're alive, and give an everyday, not every day, but like a regular improvement to the game, so that you don't have to wait in despair for the long-term stuff to arrive.
Coming from QQ Group, more specific things, in-game reporting. Detection tools they're asking for. Is that something you're working on? What is the current status of that?
Yeah, well, so absolutely, we work on that. Like we have, recently we have integrated the Easy Anti-Cheat. One part of Easy Anti-Cheat is detection of cheaters, and there were some issues that we have managed to fix in the recent patch, but there are. The automatic detection is one part of the fight against cheaters, and the second is the manual reporting. And this one, we want to improve it by allowing, for instance, players to report potential cheaters at the end of the match, after the match is over, because right now it must be done only during the match. And generally during the match, people are focusing on the match and they don't think about it. The match is over. And this is the moment where they breathe and they want to report the person, but it's too late. The interface is not here. So we will expand this to allow people to report at the moment where they are ready to report. Also, we are introducing end match history, we call it, or end match. I don't exactly know how we worded it on the
little screen and match history.
Yeah, and we worded it match history in the roadmap. What it is, it's the statistics of the map in the interface of the game after the match is over. So if you have a doubt that someone is cheating, this can allow to check, okay, what's the economy of this player? Is it normal that he had so many units? And this is the moment where you can see that, okay, maybe he had so many units, but they were very cheap, so that's why you were seeing so many. And so it can help to detect more efficiently real cheaters from people thinking that there is a cheater, but in fact there is not. Because that's the main difficulty for us. It's we have a lot of reports and we take quite a lot of time. We have a dedicated team for that to review the report and make sure that we ban cheaters and we don't ban innocent players. It happened once shortly after the release. We were in bit in panic mode. We apologize again for that. So there were some people that were wrongly banned because the checking was not made consensuously, and
Consciously.
Consciously.
Yeah.
And okay, now we have a dedicated team for that. So our objective is zero person banned wrongfully.
Yeah.
By the way, the option to report players on victory screen should arrive pretty soon, right?
Yeah, it's already, we have already worked on it. I don't know, maybe next patch. I don't know exactly. I don't have the time.
It's not too far then.
Yeah, hopefully before the end of the year.
A question
Probably.
from both the QQ group and the chat, and elaborating on it very interestingly. This is like a salty breakfast or sweet breakfast. It's like, these factions there as well. 1v1, 1v1, 3v3, 5v5. Everyone has a favorite one. Can you elaborate a bit on where we are with the different modes, and what's your view, what the team view is on that specifically?
Mm-hmm. Well, generally, our main objective. Well, when it comes to match, it's a problem of matchmaking mostly. We want to offer an efficient matchmaking to the player, which means finding a match rapidly and finding a balanced match. And if the problem is that to reach this objective, if we break the community between multiple incompatible modes, each game mode will have a lower pool of players to pick the teams from, and as a result, this will reduce our objective to get a match fast and balanced. So we are thinking about the possibility to create an alternative team size. 3v3 is the one that is the best candidate, and we have to be careful, because one possibility is that one team size could end up killing the others. And we are really attached to the 5 versus 5 because it's actually very friendly for new players, because they can join a team. The team is quite large, and even if their individual performance is not the best, this is a safe environment for them to learn the game, to progress, and to become better players. So. The smaller the size of the team, the more pressure there is on each individual player. So the risk is that by proposing a game focusing highly on 1 versus 1, for instance, you get a community that is extremely dedicated, but the entry fee to become a 1 versus 1 player is so high that the conversion between the number of players trying the game and the number of players going to multiplayer is extremely low. As I said before, one of our surprise at the release of the game was how much people played the multiplayer. It was the objective, like through the 5 versus 5, to have a maximum of them, but we were really surprised how efficient it was. And so we would like to make sure the 5 versus 5 game mode remains in the game and remains the main game mode where you can easily find a match, so that new players can integrate into the community, into the pool of players. Otherwise, we risk to starve, and no more player will be present in game after some time.
I think I'm just stopping here for just a second to address some of the things that I see in the chat that are very relevant. I actually see that everyone has a very specific item that they think that is very important. Someone says more units, more U units. Some say the balance. Some say new mode or new faction, and realize this. We needed to make sure that we listen to everyone and we prioritize things. So when we see that there is a vocal group of people asking for something, we would definitely listen. But that doesn't mean that we don't listen to the single requests or there's a lot of people in the team that might want, in the development team, that might want one single item that is not even showing in the chat or in the community in the Discord, that maybe is even more important for the balance of the game. One thing I wanted to ask Félix is, I think it's very important, is how much of the game, and we can't go into much detail because you're not a programmer, but how much of the game had to be redone for a number of things that we've either just released or planning to release, as in structurally redone?
Before the release? Or
no, after release.
After
release.
release.
After seeing, all the requests from people, like save games, how does save, for instance, impact the overall code and the overall experience, structure of the game, and how much of it has to be, almost like, or I need to redo all this from scratch because if I cannot add save games to, the game itself.
It's generally, you don't necessarily have to scratch everything, but there is a point, like, it's always, at a moment, when you want to improve something, and you don't have the good basis for that, you can try to improve the existing base, but it's less efficient than redoing from zero. So it's always a calculation, but I'm not making it. I'm not a programmer. We have programmers, lead programmers. They are experienced people, and they take these decisions to see, like, is what we have basically good enough, close to what we need, and so we can improve it a bit, or do we need to scratch it? And obviously we try to scratch a minimum of stuff because that's wasted work, but trying so sometimes trying to absolutely maintain what's existing actually costs you more in the end than redoing something new. So it's hard to tell, like, I cannot give you a percent or whatever. It's just that it's generally not an entire element. It's one part of, it's a sub-element that is completely replaced or something like that. And also, we cannot risk to destroy completely the rest of the game. Like, it's, for instance, for the save games, the main problem is the state of the game in the script of the missions. So in which state is a signal and stuff like that. This was not compatible with the possibility to save some elements. So we have the choice between making a partial save sometimes, which will be compatible with some elements but not others. Like, we can imagine if a tank has fired and the shell is in flight at the moment where the save is made, well, maybe in that case we'll have to forget about it because there are too many variables, too many things to be done to get all the information about this element. And in the grand scheme, the amount of shells in flight at the moment of a save, well, this is not that much, so you might lose one munition. Missiles are more important, so maybe we make this effort for missiles but not for ballistic projectiles, stuff like that. So the two main stuff that we need to rework is the network logic to move the authority from the users to the servers. This requires a lot of rework, and the mission editor and the way the scripts are made to make it compatible with the save game. These are really the two biggest stuff that we need to rework.
One thing we need to sort of look into right now as well, and this is sort of a recurring thing because we've seen this in so many multiplayer games, is balance. And maybe Alberto, you can give a bit of insight on, because you've got experience on other games as well, how balance is becoming important in so many games, and maybe sort of going into that topic, then maybe Félix can sort of add to it as well.
Well, the main thing about balance is that it's an extremely polarizing topic, and you can't make everyone happy. In fact, anytime you change anything, you make everyone unhappy. So we knew that, and we knew also, from a marketing perspective, we also knew that communicating about balance is not easy, because once again, people get unhappy, and we tried also to explain the reasoning behind the balance changes that were made, thanks to the information that Felix provided to us, quite a lot of data as well as statistics, and of course the reaction has been a bit hostile occasionally for certain players. Once again, it's a super polarizing topic. We understand why, because if players spend hundreds of hours into learning how to play a game, and then they get attached to a certain play style, and then they see that removed under their feet, they feel that they've been wronged, of course. But once again, we have to remember that a game's balance is never done. There will always be work to be done on balance. It will always be a work in progress thing. Most important, even more so after we start adding more specializations and more factions, more maps, and more features. This has been the case with other games, and even more so with Broken Arrow. So, yeah, once again, having the feedback from players about balance is super important. We also started looking at the feedback in a more analytical manner. We now have the tools in order to collect all the feedback from Discord and from other sources in order to really get a really good picture of what the players' perception are. So we think that we are now equipped with the tools in order to do a good job with the balance. But yeah, it would be much more interesting to hear Felix, because he's the main man behind balance.
Yep. Well, generally, yeah, there's problem with balance is that it's a good objective, because if your game is unbalanced, you lose players. Basically, people get tired of an unbalanced games. So we have to maintain a well-balanced game to keep the interest in the match, because if you know that you're fighting an uphill battle, even before it starts, that's not good. The opposite part are people who are in fact opposed to the change, because like you as you said, you learn things, and then what balance does, a balance patch is a rebalance patch, is something that will change the game. The game will be different from before to after. So for all the feeling of it was better before, or I don't want things to change, I don't want to redo my decks, I don't want to adapt, basically I don't want to relearn. This is a problem. Well, this will go against, this will create some negativity, because what the balance patch is doing is that it's breaking the deck, it's changing your habits and stuff like that. So we know that a balance patch will not be creating a lot of positivity, but we also know that it's a necessary evil to progress towards a better balance. So, well, we do it anyway. It's like a long-term investment. It can create initial rejection. It requires adaptation. Even in the win rates, when you have a switch of balance, you can see that initially there is a very strong change of efficiency, and after that it tends to smooth, to become better. So, well, in any case, it's not over. We will continue to work on that. There are many factors that makes it that makes one faction or the other not working. In any case, since the beginning of the game, the things have improved. They're not perfect, so at the moment it's the US faction that is winning more than Russia. Before it was the opposite. We will get to a good balance over time, and in any case, it's not something that is done and then you don't touch it. It's the balance of the game also highly depends on how people play it, and how people play it can change without changing anything in the game itself. It can change. Like if you have a player who discover a new strategy and share it, and more people start to play this new strategy, and here we go, we get a new meta that is completely switching what's happening in the game without even changing it. We had an example of that. I don't remember the number of the patch, but the patch where we highlighted the Russian coastal forces deck, saying, okay, we'll try to make it a bit better, and we didn't touch much. We modified like 2 units, and after that, it brought the attention on this deck. People starting to play with it, discovered units. The infamous Tupolev 22 with its cruise missiles was spammed a lot, and this unit was not modified. It was there since the beginning of the game. It's just that people didn't try, people were preferred to play something else, and without changing it, it became the most used unit of the game for some time. So it's something, it's living. It's not something dead. It's not a statue that you carve and after it's done, it's perfect, and now it will never move forever. It's a living thing that is based on how it is played and its player.
Question from Jack Daniels, which I'll need a pint of after this. And from other players as well. Any more news about modding support, and what's the current status of that?
Well, it's still we are improving that. Actually, it goes a bit unnoticed by people, but we have one tool that is very practical to make some modding. It's the Lua node. I don't know how you pronounce Lua in English. Actually, Lua node. It's a very powerful tool. We are improving it with every patch. We are improving the documentation as well to explain how it works, how to use it. So you can replace models, you can include sounds, etc. Plus you have all the tools of the editor at the beginning that allow you to create all your scenario, include sound, include videos. We have really great scenarios made by the community every week. I try to play one regularly to see what's going on, and really great quality. I invite everyone to check the workshop to see what's going on there. Actually, we made recently a zombie mode. It was based on the idea of one of the player who called joining player. He made a scenario which was about fighting hordes of zombies, but he didn't really have the tool for that. So we tried to help. We have included the 3D models for the zombie. We've made our own scenario, but now he can create a better. He improved his design. So it's nice. So try the Lua node, take a look at what it can do. This is the entry door to the modding of the game, and the main problem we have to allow people to modify everything is the problem of cheaters, because everything we do for the modding is a backdoor that will be used by cheaters to try to cheat. So we need to keep the balance between these two. It's a long work, depending on the level of accessibility that you expect from modding, because some people talk about modding like, okay, code stuff in the game to change it, and some people talk about modding more like, I want a tool, I want to drag and drop an icon and the game is modified. These are two very different level of difficulties. Like having tools, having perfectly designed tools for modding takes more time than offering basic solutions. But of course, basic solutions require to put a bit your hands in the grease. I would say, put your hands in the engine a bit to see how it works. Not everything can be pre-made and already ready to go. It's going to take time.
So basically, the idea is that we're going to work on the current Lua node to improve it and make it better at the moment, and that's the sort of main thing that we're working on at the moment, right?
Right now, it's the main thing. If you want to mod the game, take a look at this, because this is really the element that will help you to do that.
Okay, I'm answering a question myself to Ubermensch, although I'll probably answer it only if he changes his nickname to Glenn Morangi. Do you guys think that the roadmap and free DLC will be enough to win back the trust, or is there more behind the scenes? I think that, so to answer the question, I think that, and the fact that the guys are working on weekends, on Sundays, and the whole team is hard at work to deliver what's on the roadmap. You might realize that on the roadmap you see a lot of things, and building all that in basically 12 months, because we're at the end of 2025, and we've got, like, this is sort of a roadmap for the first year. There's a little bit of a glimpse on 2027, but this is a lot of stuff to work on. So that will win the trust back, and also as we work on stuff, there will be more, of course. And so what we'll do is we'll take that roadmap, and instead of delivering another roadmap in 3 months' time, we're going to use that and update it and add stuff to that roadmap as we go, so that you can see how we are ticking the green boxes and turning the yellow into green, and start working on other stuff, and also add more to that roadmap. So the next thing we're going to do is on December 9th, we'll have another update on Broken Arrow. This is going to happen during Slitherine Next, which is our overall presentation of the games that we're working on and the future game announcements from Slitherine. So this is like a publishing part of this. Is not specifically to Broken Arrow, but there will be a part dedicated to Broken Arrow, where we are going to focus on tell us.
Well, basically, we're going to showcase the new specialization DLC. We're going to show a new trailer. We're going to show new screenshots. We're going to reveal some of the units in this specialization, and the Steam page for the DLC will go live.
The other couple of questions I'm going to ask because they are recurring, so I want to make sure that we cover these. Unranked mode, and going back to the 1v1, 3v3, 5v5. Félix, ranked, unranked. Can you give us a sort of a full picture of what you guys are working on?
Well, if the problem is that do you want an unranked mode but still with an automatic matchmaker? If there is an automatic matchmaker, how should we pick the team and put them together? So we have an unranked mode at the moment, which is using custom matches. It's totally possible to, by default, creating a custom match. It puts you in the same condition as a standard match, and there is no rating, because you choose who you play with, who you play against. But as soon as you expect something like with an automatic matchmaker, the automatic matchmaker needs something. Otherwise, it's like If we don't have any rating system, because the ELO system is a rating system, if there is no rating system between the teams, we put the first two teams coming together, and potentially it's a very weak team and a very strong team, and the match that you obtain is not really interesting. So there has to be a rating working anyway. So it's just like basically we would hide your ELO and not show you, and you will feel better, but the same thing would be happening in the background. It's required to have balanced teams.
To sort of complement on that, is there a plan to rework or improve or change the ranking system, the ELO ranking system?
Yeah, we'd like to, but we see this. The problem is that it's a rating. The objective of the rating is to evaluate the performance of the players and the team to match them in an interesting match. But we see as a result a lot of players attaching, I'd say, much more attention than they should on this rating. They consider it like a reward at the end of the match, and they want to accumulate a maximum. They never want to lose any rating. That's actually pretty incompatible with the system of rating. If you lose rating, it's actually a good news for your next match, because they are going to be easier and more in line with your current skill level. So we are thinking about creating a system of leagues and seasons where people progress, like we progress over time in the leagues, and at the end of the season we partially reset the value so that you can try something during a season, and then maybe there is a big balance patch or a new DLC, new faction coming, and we start a new season on new basis, basically. So we've start working on this to replace the basic rating of ELO, which is generally perceived like people try to perceive it like same as experience at the end of the match. You see, like, oh yeah, I've won, I should get ELO. Except if you win against someone who is inferior to your rating, you shouldn't get any extra rating, because what the rating is saying is how good you perform. If you manage to beat a team that is considered a bit weaker than you, the rating system doesn't get any new information from that, and this doesn't mean that you are considered to be better by the rating. And this kind of stuff is frustrating for many players. They want a progression all the time after every match, and a rating system cannot really provide that.
So I guess that, many questions, many other topics we could face, but I guess that we are 25th of November. The next time we're going to sort of interact with you guys is going to be December 9th, and in December 9th we're gonna tell you when next time we'll be again doing a new recap of roadmap, where we are, what we're delivering, and so on, to make sure that we keep this openness to the community, and make sure that you guys know what we're working on. And to do that, and I've also seen a comment on the chat earlier on, are you going back to weekly newsletters? Well, one of the things about the weekly newsletters is that every time we posted a weekly newsletter about what we were working on, there was an influx of negativity. You forgot about this, and so it's not always that we can cover all the different points we're working on in a weekly update. What we want to make sure that we are open enough so that you guys know what we're working on, and to do that, we can do it if we see that in delivering the news, we are seeing that this openness works for you guys, and you are kind of constructively giving us some some directions. We need to make sure that this happens, and to make sure that this happens, we want to really ask you, as I've seen in the chat today, thank you for being so collaborative and positive, I would say, at least the majority of you. And I hope that from now on there will be this more collaboration between us, and make sure that from the next live stream, again, updating and delivering more information, and then we'll be able to go back to weekly updates and make sure that we give you more insights on what the team has been working on. Felix, thank you for joining us.
My
making
pleasure.
all the way through the Alps and seeing us here. Alberto, thank you for being here. Guys, I'll see you on December 9th. I'll be here.
I'll be
Alberto
here.
too.
Felix won't be here.
Felix won't be there.
Be at work.
And thank you again for being such a great community, and hopefully we'll make you happier in 2026. Thank you, and goodbye.